So.
Hi, welcome, cultists, to the Shining Icosahedron Great Order. This is the first acolyte for Wotabus, and with me I have two guests from Cantina 13. Hi, guys, how are you?
Hello. Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you so much. I'm happy to have you guys here. Could you please introduce yourselves for the people on the chat?
I am Reese. I sing a lot of songs and I write a lot of homebrew.
I am Dylan, and I do a lot of that as well behind the scenes. Not the same, everything else.
That's a great introduction. So, yes, that's basically what we will be talking about. But before we jump into the project and the specifics of what you do, where are you guys from?
I guess Vancouver, we'll say, is the easier answer. We're from like the greater Vancouver area on the west coast of
Okay,
Canada.
okay, both of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, let's
same
go.
house. Yeah, we're brothers. We should mention.
Oh, yeah, we're related.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense with the last names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people think we're married, and we have to shut that down
That was
immediately.
the other option, yeah.
Yeah,
Two dudes owning a house together in 2023.
yeah, very liberal.
Um, so I guess you guys are the first guests from Canada. That's exciting. I
That is
wasn't
Cool.
sure
exciting.
about
Awesome.
that. So yay, we are more international now than before.
There you go, breaking
Dope.
borders.
Dope.
Let's do it.
So besides, well, we will talk about tabletop RPGs and all that, but besides that, what do you guys do?
Oh man, we're supposed to have other hobbies. It's, it's a lot of that. I guess the obvious answer is music. But obviously with Cantina 13, we found a way to kind of mesh those two hobbies. But we're just a couple of real life nerdy bards, just board games and songs for the most part.
Yeah, I think my loft we got a whole bunch of shelving units and we need more because I have too many board games.
Yeah. It's all
All
service
right.
board
So
games.
it's board games and tabletop RPGs. Which
Yeah.
came first?
Oh, which came first? Probably board games because we were
Well,
like four
Hero
or five.
Quest, what does that count as?
It's both.
Yeah,
It's both.
Yeah, so our dad was super into tabletop RPGs and board games, and when we were young, he got us into this game called Hero Quest, which has actually recently kind of done this redux.
Mhm.
They didn't rewrite it, right? It's still the same.
No, they just re-released it with a new facelift,
Yeah.
made it like 1 inch compatible with more common games in today's
5e
age.
compatible, really.
Yeah, basically.
And yeah, so we were introduced to that, and it's basically like the middle ground between board games and RPGs because there's no real role playing per se,
Mhm.
unless you use our version. But then yeah, so I guess that's kind of what we started with, other than like the obvious like snakes and ladders as little kids.
Yeah.
So like it was the first one that we got into that kind of started the snowball effect into where we're at now.
Yeah, quickly evolved into things like TMNT and other strangeness, Palladium games, D&D in general.
Yeah, like advanced D&D back in the 90s.
We still have the second edition book somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Wet in a
So you
garage.
started with RPGs, like actual RPGs or more structured RPGs with Dungeons and Dragons?
Kind of. We basically like instead of Berenstain Bears, we learned to read with like the advanced Dungeons and Dragons modules. We would make character sheets and play games that we would kind of like create as like like 6 and 8 year old kids that were something
Wow.
like Dungeons and Dragons, but we didn't ever really play D&D until we were probably teenagers.
When we could better grasp the intricacies of the words being used and rules.
Yeah, exactly. So like we played a lot of like D&D-esque games growing up. Like you said, there's this company called Palladium. They make like Ninja Turtles RPGs and ninjas and super spies and superheroes, and obviously that grasped our young minds a lot easier. Those a lot easier to
Yeah.
conceptualize than like the dark magics of the Forgotten Realms. So we leaned into that a lot more, and then it eventually turned into D&D when we were in high school, and then well into our adult life.
So I just want to make sure that I understood because it's amazing. You guys started creating characters for D&D when you were 6, 7 years old, just for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 or 6. We usually get our dad, who was kind of an artist, to draw the characters out for us too. So like I made this really cool cheetah prisoner character once for TMNT. And man, I remember all those characters. They're so fun.
Yeah, no, they're also fun.
Um,
Yeah, we were, yeah. doing this since we were like able to read.
Actually, our most in-depth RPG we played when we were younger is one our dad actually made using HeroQuest and D&D as kind of a base called Infinite Lore. We played that for years, I think.
Yeah, literally years.
And
Wow, that's amazing. Now I
long-
understand why you make so many mentions of rules and all that. Like you really know them. And before we continue, I just want to make a quick clarification for the people watching the stream. They are together right now, like in the same space, and they are sitting next to each other because on the stream you are not together. We have two
oh,
images,
okay.
so it looks weird when you look to the side. I just want to make sure that
I
everyone
should look this way when
understands.
you're talking. Like,
yeah, where am I? Is it like
No,
right-
Dylan is below.
Oh,
So yeah,
Why
just
is that
to
immediately?
avoid any weird questions.
Okay.
All right. So again, just started playing like more seriously tabletop RPGs on high school, and you started with Dungeons and Dragons, right?
yeah.
Which other systems have you played?
Like we said, a lot of the Palladium game systems. There's this one game called Wordplay, which is a D6 system that we really liked. That one took up a lot of our time. Dabbled in like Pathfinder like once or twice, but like we're like we might as well be playing D&D at this point.
Gloomhaven's a good one.
Gloomhaven.
It's kind of like HeroQuest in that it's a self-contained game system. I'm sure everyone
Mhm.
knows what I'm talking about. But it's a lot more advanced than HeroQuest is, but it's another good one that's easy to set up role play.
And then a lot of wargaming, Warcry, Underworlds, Kill Team, a little bit of 40K.
Might be more with 10th edition coming out.
Yeah, it might be more to get there.
Already making plans. And which one is your favorite?
That's a really big question.
Yeah, I'm way more into fantasy, so I'd say, can I do top three? Because I don't know if I have an order.
Yeah, top three.
So in no order, I'd say D&D, HeroQuest, and Underworlds. Just for the simplicity of all of them, I don't have to think too much. I can react more. They're a lot easier to have fun when you're not memorizing mechanics and rule sets. Like with Underworld,
That's true.
cards in front of you, it's like do this. I'm like, you got it. That's as simple as that.
Let's say, I guess I'll do top three too. Kill Team's up there for me right now. There's so many games I play. It's really hard to pick. I'd say just recently the tabletop games I play the most of are Kill Team, Warcry, and actually probably Underworlds too. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Warhammer gaming recently.
That's cool. I mean, that makes sense with all those minis that I've seen.
True.
Yeah.
That's all my teams. That's all my different armies.
All the things.
All right. And which of you is usually the master or the narrator?
I was for a very long time,
Yeah.
and then I kind of stopped doing it because I wanted to play more, and then Dylan kind of started taking over the DM role.
But in our group in Cantina 13, I don't know if you noticed, we have like a lot of like miniatures and stuff that we release on our website, and the artist for those is our artist Austin. He is currently our game master in the campaign that we're running. We're actually doing our session 0 after this call, so we're going to be running that shortly. I guess yeah, as a group, we've only really played the only person, like there's 4 of us in Cantina 13, the only one of us hasn't DM'd a session, so like we all kind of take turns. But Austin, as he's the artist, he's on making the minis, it's easiest for him to be like, hey, I'm going to create this thing, it's going to try and eat you guys, rather than us like going to him and like and something to
all these things that are going to attack you eventually.
Yeah, it makes much sense.
That makes sense. He's the one creating all those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So since you are already mentioning the team, could you tell us about the story of how Cantina 13 came to be?
Well, you see, it was a dark and stormy night, and
so back in February of 2020, Reese and I and 2 of our other friends got together, like, hey, what if we tried making some content and resources surrounding like tabletop RPGs. We have all these like different skill sets, like it could be fun, let's give it a go. And then a month later, it became illegal to hang out with people due to COVID-19.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we tried to like, like whatever, we'll make the socials for now, and when everything kind of dies down, we'll try playing games together. We'll try making more of these resources. And it went on a lot longer than the 14 days that they said we'd be in lockdown for.
That's
So
true.
kind of just sat idle for probably about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then at that time the other two guys kind of like went their own way and did their own thing. And I reconnected with Austin, and one of the other guys who was in the group kind of got his friend Riley involved, and now it's the four of us, Reese, myself, and then our artist Austin, and then our self-proclaimed lore master Riley. What we do for the most part, I know we're very synonymous with like Warhammer parodies right now, but our goal is to make resources for tabletop RPGs. We live in Vancouver. It's like a metropolitan area. There's a hobby shop on every corner. Like we can buy minis, we can, like we have access to all these things. We grew up with these books. So what we want to do is create like free resources for people who don't have that. Like all the miniatures, like the paper ones, like we have some in the closet actually, if you want to grab some.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
We make these like 2D miniatures that people can download for free.
Mhm.
For anybody who A, can't afford them, or B, lives in Iowa 3 hours away from the nearest Games Workshop or whatever, like
Was the actually download right now?
yeah,
Or in Latin America, that is way
Exactly.
harder to get those.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so they're just like you print them out, you cut them out, make little standees.
Troll.
Yeah,
Ourselves a bandit.
That's cool.
Spooky Bandit.
Yeah, and all these can be downloaded for free on the website. You can print them out.
That's
Much free.
nice.
We're releasing more all the time.
Yeah, we're releasing other things like environment guides and quest prompts and stuff next week. We have our own game system that Reese wrote called Deck Delvers.
Oh,
It's like if you don't have access to like 5 ebooks, but you want to play a tabletop RPG, this
Mhm.
one's just using a deck of cards, and it's like a full rule system, just following that, because those are way more accessible than buying like 1,000 sets of dice.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah. No, someone from the community actually made like a character sheet for it as well. We're trying to make it as like Reese was trying to make it as minimalist as possible, just so we can be like, hey, like take this thing, go and play it. It should be easy, one and done. But then I guess someone from the community really liked it, and he made a character sheet for it. So we have that linked on our website as well. Just a little addition to the compendium. I don't know.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite part about that was we don't know how he found the game because the page wasn't published yet.
Yeah,
but it was still live. So I guess he just happened upon it through a Google search by accident, and suddenly we're like, hey, I made a character sheet for this game you haven't even announced yet.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Do you have my home address as well?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. So
That's very cool. So it started as a way to provide these tools for other people to be able to play
That's-
whenever, wherever.
Yeah, so that's like what the generators and such are for, like assistive tools to just help people enjoy their real world playing games easier,
yeah. Like the vicious monster insult generator was just a dumb idea we had that we're like, people might find joy in this. Here you go, insult your friends.
It's one of our most popular things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I bet that's the most popular one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do that. I've had the challenge to, hey, you have to tell something mean that will make the monster react or whatever. And it's hard to think like on the fly, what can I say that will be funny, make sense, and it's not like an overkill with an insult or something like that. It's hard to do it.
Yeah, and now there's generators for it. The future is here. So it's and yeah, like other games, like we have the City of Mist, Mythos Logos generator as well, which is City of Mist is another RPG system. We made that one for our friends in 4 Geeks by Geeks because their game master was like, hey, I cannot make NPCs on the fly. And we're like, now you can. Here you go. So it just creates a character within the confines of their role system.
Mm-hmm.
And that we just want to do that for as many games as possible, as many ideas as we can have. We want to create as many resources for the people who would find use in them. So be that insulting your friends or creating characters, we want to help out where we can. So.
That's amazing. How did you do that?
Google.
Lots of Google.
Yeah, we didn't know how to code. So it's like, Reese, can you figure out coding? He's like, yeah, I got you. So
I know very little, but I know enough to make it work now, so it's good.
That's cool.
where there's a will, there's a way right now. Like,
Or a hyper focus.
yeah, there's a just wanted
But
to do
the
it, so I figured out how to do it and then just put it all together. That was, yeah, it
but
was
the
just,
word list is like your idea. What's coming to your mind?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, all the phrases you see in there. We have a huge like Google Sheet doc with like dozens of entries from all of us just filling in what we think works and what's funny. And then we've like fine-tuned that to make it work with like the sentence structure we kind of set up for the phrases.
yeah. So for like the
Mhm.
visual concrete insult generator, it starts with like what we call a call out, and then an adjective, and then a noun, and then a descriptive insult. So we just wrote
Okay.
out call out, so it's just any like opening phrases like a vast,
Hear me.
yeah, just anything like that, where you can like look here, and then it'll always say you, because he's like, you're just speaking to someone that you're casting vicious mockery on. So be like, look here, you
Half-witted pixie.
yeah. So it'll be like adjective noun. So like you bumbling buffoon,
Yeah.
and then go into a descriptive insult following that. The descriptive insults were probably the hardest part because we had to
Make a full sentence.
like you look like a common loot or whatever that
It's hard to be funny on purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. But
There's a lot
you guys
of
are great doing that.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll take your word for
we're stumbling.
it.
How long did it take to create all those lists?
Depends on some of them. We were like, we're just feeling it. We're like, we bang it out. It's been 30 minutes. Here's a new generator. And other ones, it's just like weeks of torment.
What do we say? Is
Yeah.
this funny? Does this work? Is
Should
this
I-
generator even useful? Like,
Should I be doing this anymore? I'm gonna go apply to a real job. Like, depends on the day.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, they are mentioning on the chat, lots of Google. That sounds familiar, and I agree. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That's it.
Google can help you do pretty much anything nowadays. The internet is a beautiful thing. You just got to be careful with it.
Google your way into a degree. You don't need to go to school. You just need to know how to search stuff up.
Yeah, I've heard some of that. So you mentioned that you weren't expecting the reaction that you got for the generators. How was that? How do you
We're
feel
not
about that?
Any of the reactions we get when somebody like tags us in our video and they're like, this is funny, we're like, you think this is funny? So we I don't know, we just kind of do what we like, and if people respond, like, awesome. Sometimes they don't. Like some of our generators, like the Bardic Inspiration generator, no one really wants to use, because who wants to compliment their friends? Nobody. So you know, but well, like, we liked it, so we put it out. And like, you know, some of our videos will get like hundreds of thousands of views, some will get like 5,000, but we're like, whatever, we like it. So it's a lot of just
It's really sad though when a video we really like doesn't do very well.
yeah, no, that's such like sick. Why is nobody agreeing?
What's wrong with you people? So
Yeah,
how
funny.
how did the songs and the funny videos started? It was before or after the generators and all that?
We were during, I guess.
I think it was during the writing of the generators. We were trying to figure out how to make like content for things. And I think we started out with just we were doing my honest painting tutorial voice. Our very first TikTok was like getting just random shit from outside for your D&D games to act as terrains, like rocks and sticks, like stuff from your fish tank that looks kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember when we decided to work on parodies. Like,
so I was just like humming around the house, and I had Bare Necessity stuck in my head, and I changed it to Gray Minis or something. And then I was like, Reese, if like can you help me like work on this? Can you sing this if I can get like an instrumental together? And then I sent it to a friend of mine. He mixed it and sent it back to me. And then we posted that, and that was the first video we had where it like got like some like resembling like
virility almost.
yeah, like it only got like 60,000 views, which like I know is not viral by any means, especially on that platform.
But other videos were getting like 100, maybe.
Yeah, they're getting between like 300 and like 1,000 at best.
Yeah.
So that one getting like 60,000 views, we're like, okay, people seem to like this. Let's do a couple more. And then we did more, and they just kept like people kept reacting with it, and we're like, this is nothing to do with what we're doing, but whatever. Like we just enjoy doing it. Like I said, like outside of this, we're all musicians. Like Austin, our game master, was our drummer in a band before this. So we all come from that background, like that shared background together. Like I played
Mm-hmm.
guitar, Austin drummed, Reese sang. So we definitely have that chemistry already. So we just kept kind of leaning into it. It's something we're more familiar with, and it has nothing to do with our goals, but it's just something fun. And like I said, we just keep doing what we think is fun and hoping that it sticks. So it's
And
just, yeah.
have they helped with that goal? I mean, I would think that if people are liking and following what you're doing, they will also eventually stumble upon your tools and your generators and all that. Is it helping?
Yeah, a lot of them do. We like to try and advertise our stuff when we can. Like whenever people bring up, we like to use the cantinas a lot in our videos because it's just,
Yeah.
what's the word called? Placement marketing.
And we don't like promoting it because it's just like even though they're free, we're just like, come look at what I did, and it feels so much like less genuine than like singing a silly song. So it's like we find trouble like selling ourselves because we want to help people, and it's so hard to
We're very shy and humble nerds. We
Yeah.
don't like the whole extrovert thing.
We're
Okay.
just like, do what we can to like provide for people without being like, oh, look at this thing I made for you. So we have had people like, we were tagged in a video where it's like creators you should check out, and they mentioned us. They're like, oh, Cantina 13 makes tabletop RPG resources. They also do some funny parodies. We're like, also do parodies. That's the ideal way for us to be seen. Like,
To
yes,
be
we do.
introduced. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and change my post.
And like we'd never talked to this guy beforehand, and he just he saw us first as resources, and then came back to the idea of like, oh, and they do parodies, or funny guys, and we're just like, I don't know how you made that correlation from finding our videos, but thank you for seeing us for our true selves. So
That's nice. Okay. So since the idea of this interview is yes, know what you guys do and the project, let's go back to the team real quick.
sure.
You
Oh,
said
yes.
you are four.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you
I
tell
have.
us again what you guys, each of you, do?
So it's open. We're all kind of finding a slot for ourselves still. Like we said, we had like a 2-year hiatus over COVID to kind of rethink and replan everything. And in the last year, I guess we've been really building up and getting everything kind of figured out.
10 to 12 months.
But yeah, Austin is our artist / DM for the series we're going to be doing.
Riley writes all of them. So we do have one thing that we sell is Patreon.
Yeah.
But that's basically like our Feed Our Artist fund.
Okay.
Basically we make more cantinis and like all the things I had mentioned prior, like quests, environment guides, and stats, and all this stuff that we post on there. And Riley writes all of our lore for that. So he is a horticulturalist. So all of our magical plants and everything that we release every month, we do like 3 of them with like art and stuff like that. They're all like mostly botanically accurate, which is really fun. And then he'll also write like fauna guides. So he'll write like about like critters and their like eco habits as well. And then, throw in like a quest prompt to run for like Pathfinder, D&D, or whatever your preferred game system is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause you real quick. We have a commercial, and I want people to hear what you're saying. So let's
I just put on the stream to see what's
sure.
going on.
give it a few seconds. I'm not sure how long it lasts, but
Looks like it's done now.
Is
yeah,
it?
it's done. Okay, so
Where did we lose me?
I'm not sure, guys. What was the last thing you guys heard?
So
You were
Riley,
mentioning the
Riley's our lore master. He writes all of the things for our Patreon, all of like the environment guides, the fauna guides. So he writes about the like eco habits of like some magical critters, as well as like some like mostly botanically accurate plants. Our flora guides. He writes our quest lore and kind of like integrates it all together. As well as he prints a lot of the minis that we do use, and he's a phenomenal painter. He anything that's actually painted on our our feed, like the ones we use in the videos that Reese and I do are Reese's, but any of the really in-depth like busts and models and stuff like that, Riley paints.
Yeah. Pretty much most of the stuff you'll see on our Instagram for painted minis, that'll be Riley.
He's incredible.
Fantastic.
Okay.
But you guys also paint.
Yes.
Despite what the songs may say, yes.
When the
Not as
will
many
arrive,
as you would want, but you do.
we have to not paint them now. It's part of the brand. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have anything to sing about.
No. It's like
Well,
we said,
yes, you can sing about how to overcome that.
no, see, nobody
That's
likes
not
that.
nearly
It's
as relatable.
it's like the bardic inspiration. Nobody wants to compliment their friends. No one wants to see, oh, you're doing a good job painting your minis. They want to be called out for not painting them. It's the aggression. It's the
it's the relatability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one wants
you're right.
If you watch our last 3 videos, like not in the order, in the order they were posted, it's like it's so funny because I'm never going to paint these minis. And then the next video is I'm finally painting. And then the last one we posted yesterday was every time I paint, they turn out awful. So it's not giving inspiration. So.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I do understand, and I do relate to what you guys sing about. So
Yeah.
makes sense. All right. So you mentioned about the different resources, and I only had clearly I knew about the generators, but you have others. So could you tell us about a little bit more on detail with what resources can we find and how to get them?
Currently what we have available is our cantinis, which are our little paper miniatures you can print out and play.
We also do terrain as well.
Terrain is also a thing we have. We got what's our latest release? We got this tree, and then we got cute mushroom trees.
Yeah,
and a whole bunch of other stuff on the website.
Caves and rocks and sticks and all that fun stuff.
Just stuff to spruce up the board, make it look a little more lived in.
Yeah.
We have plans for more resources. I'm particularly fond of writing game mechanics. So one thing we have on our website is available homebrew. Currently there's 2 kill teams up that I've kind of rewritten from the compendium so people can have more generalist teams with a little more feel to them. And then we're releasing...
Everything else is coming out next week. So Hero Quest rescripted.
Yeah, we have homebrew rules for Hero Quest because it's a very simple game mechanic system. It can lead to points where, as much fun as I had with it as a kid, it's very, very simple. So we've written some to expand upon it, make it a lot more in-depth, give players more agency to what they're doing, while keeping the simplicity of the fact that it is Hero Quest, not D&D, not Pathfinder kind of thing. That's coming out next week, along with additional abilities for a couple of the classes who don't have much going on for them. What else we got cooking?
The free quest prompts are coming out next week as well. So we're releasing 3 quests that can be integrated into any fantasy RPG. So Pathfinder, wordplay, anything really. And along with those is going to be all the minis that you'd need. Again, those lore bits that we've written with the flora and the fauna guides. What else do we have? We have the monster gems coming out.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Those guides that you mentioned are things that you come up with so people can use as reference, or you are taking what is mentioned and making the guide?
We created it. It's all original, actually.
Yeah, so we choose an environment to build off of. So we'll say oh, we're doing I'm not gonna give away another one, but this month even we did the kind of mushroom fae area. So we're okay, what heroes can we find here? So we have a sprite and a pixie mini, and we're okay, what are the villains? So we have different types of myconid, and we're okay, what does the environment look like? And we have all these different mushrooms that we released. And so we base all of our minis and our terrain off of that, but we also base the environment guides off of that as well. So we're okay, what critters would we find here? And I forget the name of it because we keep calling it the fat lying booze snake, but I forget the actual name we have for it. But
I don't remember.
We create the environment that it would live in, and how you interact with it and stuff like that. And then we create the what kind of flora you'd find in the area as well. So we'll do 3 plants. We have the mushroom spores here as well.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, so it'll be like
We
it's all-
typically don't make the fauna into minis, but our artist was messing around with his Cricut machine, so we could cut out these fancy ones and detail them. So we're going to try and make it a little easier for people who have some more resources to make stuff like this that have all the fancy bits cut out kind of thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the skull fungus. I can't remember what we called it.
yeah. Riley's the lore guy. He knows all
Yeah,
this
he knows
stuff.
all this stuff.
But yeah, so it's all stuff that we make based off of the environment that we choose every month. So like the 3 that we're releasing next week, one is in a cave, one is in a town, and one is on a ship. So we had to come up with the flora and fauna that you see in those areas. So obviously in a cave, we're like, okay, what will we find in here? So like, okay, like fungal spores grow in here, you might find a mushroom. I don't know what the other 2 are.
Yeah, then you got little newts, fire dragon things for
Yeah,
like crawling around for little fauna creatures.
Yeah, and then in the on the ship, we're like, okay, you're gonna encounter like, you know, sea life. So here's a jellyfish and like how it interacts and like
and then we statted it so you can kill it.
yeah. So,
Nice.
and yeah, just stuff like that. So we create the environment and then backstep into like, okay, now what's there? So
Wow, that's amazing. It's a lot of work. And you mentioned that this is all free accessible, or are these the ones that will be on Patreon?
So we
some of them are on Patreon, but yeah, sorry, go on.
it's kind of like Patreon's almost being used as sort of like a early access program for people who want to help support the channel and, as we said, feed our artist because we don't pay him. But well, we do, but we're just with what little we get from Patreon. And what you call it, we're talking about again.
Yeah, so essentially it's all free. We're always going to offer free resources. We have the Patreon as kind of like an extended thank you. Like we release like a little bit more on Patreon. So like, hey, if you want to support us, that's great. There'll be like color swap variations, print friendly ones. So you can like print out like just the line work if you either don't want to waste colored ink or you want to color them in yourselves. And then yeah, it's all like early access. So we don't know, like we released the 3 that we're releasing for free next week came out in July, August, and September of 2022. So like if you are patient, you can get them for free one day for sure. But like you'll get a little bit less just because we want to do like if you're willing to support us, we want to offer a little bit more for like
of course.
a thank you. So
Makes sense.
Which is all the guides because they're like what are the DM resources to make Dungeon Masters life a little bit easier, you know?
Yeah.
That's thinking on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Me as someone that's is just starting to be a DM, well, not a DM because I don't narrate Dungeons and Dragons, but yeah, Game Master. I really appreciate that someone does that because you don't always have the time or the head to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How did you decide to do that? Like, what was the idea? Just, I know it's hard, let's do it for others.
Initially I think it just started with the cantinis.
Yeah, we just wanted to make the minis as like we were just going to do like 8 common villains. We're like, hey, people can have these, but we loved them so much we just wanted to lean into them more. We used like a almost like Cupheady kind of art style. They're very cartoony.
Yeah, very rubber hose, like everybody's bouncing.
Yeah. And it feels a lot more honest to what D&D actually is. Every D&D like campaign starts as like this dark fellowship of like, you know, like
edgy broodlords.
Yeah, like night foes of man, but it always turns into just like a Monty Python sketch. And like our minis are the Monty Python sketch. They're the most honest articulation of D&D that I've played. So I'm hoping other people can like find
What did I say about us being humble nerds?
Yeah, well, sorry. Of what I've played. I'm saying like they're just like so cartoony and dumb, and every time I play, it's cartoony and dumb. So I'm like, that's absolutely
fair.
Yeah, how I play D&D, and I hope other people see that as well. If they don't, again, that just tracks back to us being like, we do the things we like to do, and hope other people follow along.
It's more of we want to kind of build a community of everyone who kind of likes the same stuff, you know. Which for us is just most nerd shit. Like it doesn't matter if it's like books or whatever. I just started reading like all the what are they? The Brian Sanderson novels.
Yeah, Brando Sando.
Brandon, really good. Brandon Sanderson, that is his name. Yes.
Speaking about names, I'm sorry. Okay, speaking about names, could you tell us the origin about the Cantina 13? Why that?
You know that one.
So when we were starting it, me and one of the other guys who had formed it. So it was originally just us sitting down trying to think of names, and we're like, I don't know, name it something nerdy. What's nerdy? And we came up with a bunch of words, and Cantina like just reminded us of the Cantina band from Star Wars. I was like, I like that word. It just rolls off the tongue. It sounds fun, Cantina. And then we were like thinking of like words to add, and like we were originally thinking Cantina 1 or Cantina Chic. And we're like, Cantina 1 is just like, it feels like we couldn't get the name Cantina, so we added a 1 at the end. And then Cantina Chic made us sound like a clothing line, so we didn't want to do that. So I just put a 4 next to the 1. I was like, Cantina 14. And he's like, if we're gonna go with a number, let's just go full edgelord and just say 13. And I was like, sure. It means nothing. It has nothing to do with anything.
It's the Star Wars band and an edgy number.
Yeah, like it's like we grew up with bands like, you know, Blink 182 and Sum 41 and stuff like that. So like it just felt like a natural, you know, it just fit. It doesn't mean anything, but we liked it. Again, something we liked.
Sometimes
I
there's
mean,
no,
I like it.
something's just cool, you know?
Yeah. But and yeah, now our logo is like the XIII, and that's fun. So just stumbled into that. It just worked, you know?
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's cool. I like it. And they are mentioning a little bit on the chat, but we on the studio here on Ampersand, we do have a special emotion towards the 13. When you roll that, if you sing the correct wording of it, you will get extra points. So for us, it is important and has extra value on the name.
nice.
Cool.
I did that on purpose. Yeah. That's why
There we go. That's the reason. Retroactive that.
yeah.
And
We're gonna
I
put
just
this-
want to make sure that I understand, and also the people watching us understand. Those resources, you can print them, and then you, the person printing them, will put them on that 3D position. You don't sell them already hard.
No,
See if I have
no,
a do you want to see if we have a sheet? So
definitely do.
yeah, so they are like this on a piece of paper, and you just cut it out, fold them in half, fold the base up, and it's a mini. And then they're all
Oh.
scaled.
Damage Dude is an example. So this is our gelatinous cube we released. The glue came apart because we didn't have proper glue at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like this, but you print out something like this, and
Oh, okay.
you cut it out, you set it all up. This is an older version that we printed before
This was a
I
beta,
recorrected some things. Somehow we don't know what happened. All the squares were a different size on this one.
yeah.
So I had to re-edit that.
I'm glad we figured that out after I sent them out to people.
But yeah, you print it out on cardstock, sheet paper, whatever you've got. We recommend cardstock. It's the most sturdy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just cut it out, you glue it all together, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a little more effort than, you know, buying a box of D&D minis, but
it's
you
a
get
lot
exactly
less
what you
effort than
want.
painting.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
all of
where is he?
yeah,
There we
he's
go.
below.
and yeah, so they're all like you can see the different base sizes. So this will fit on so this is a 1/2 inch. This will fit on a 1-inch base, which is generally typical for most like grid maps.
Yeah.
And then this is the 2-inch base to distinguish the size. So like in D&D specifically and Pathfinder, they as you know, I'm sure, size everything based off of like how many squares it takes up. So we just kind of followed suit with that just to kind of fit the not societal norm, the industry norm. Yeah, just so it'll be immediately like, there you go, it'll fit on a 1 grid map. And if you're not playing on a 1 grid map, then sorry.
Well, I guess we can print them in a different size or something. We can make them
Yeah. Yeah, just go on paint and just stretch them out, do whatever you got to do. They're, you know, they're pictures. You can do whatever you want with them. Right.
And what's the thing that you've enjoyed the most during this process? Is the idea, and then what you've done, the reactions, and what you're planning to do?
All the nice comments are the best.
Yeah,
People
I'm
are super
so used to
supportive.
the internet being so aggressive and mean, but I hang out in dark sides of the internet, so that's mine. But no, everyone in our community so far is really nice. They're so much fun.
Every now and then, though, we get comments, and like these are fine. People are trying to be helpful. But people will be like, oh, here's how you should paint your minis. We're like, my guy, this is a parody. Like this is satire. You get that, right? And then like we don't respond like with like vitriol or anything like that. But I'm always just like, thank you for your offer. And people will like message me all the time being like, hey, I'll paint your minis for you. And it's like, that's not what
Oh.
this is. This is
A lot of
thank
people
you.
seem to think our songs for some reason are like a cry for help. Like, oh, my minis. No, we just like writing the songs. They're funny. It's
Yeah.
just jokes.
And we try to like integrate, geez. Like Reese will be like painting one mini in one video, and then like 3 videos later you'll see it fully painted in the background, and we're like, ah, we did one. And no one
pays
notices that.
attention,
No.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'd say the best thing so far has been the community. As far as like things we've put out, my favorite things are not out yet. So
I like our honest painting tutorial. That one was a lot of fun.
as part of the things we put out this thing called an honest painting tutorial. It's on YouTube. Most of it is on Instagram, but it's barely longer than the time restrictions of the Instagram reel, so it's not on there entirely. But it's basically an honest articulation of how most people paint their minis. And it's, again, complete satire. It's just like, oh, choose the easiest one and paint it all one color and douse it in contrast paints, but in better words. And I'd say, yeah, it was well written. We got an animator friend of ours to animate it. And as far as like things we put together, it feels like the most real thing.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm surprised we wrote it sometimes. I'm like, this is actually funny. Did we write a joke? And fun. So
actually, my favorite thing about that video is, I knew someone would call us out on this, but when I was shading the miniature for the video, it turned out too dark because I used too dark of a gray initially. And I ended up dry brushing it, and we're like, no one will notice. Somebody called us out immediately.
Yeah,
and
the second comment of the video was like, did you dry brush? Like, damn it.
You weren't supposed to notice that. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Like everybody's been super receptive for the most part. Like every now and then, like we'll get like a comment that's like a little like, like they're mad about something. Like somebody called us out like, so you have money without saying you have money. And we're like, my guys, these are presents.
We don't have money.
Yeah,
we spent it all on miniatures. Yeah, we're broke.
Or
we are bad spending habits.
People were like, oh, if you're playing with gray minis, you're disrespecting the other player. And as the other player, no, you're not. Go for it. So yeah, like, but those are so few and far in between, and we don't like let those like they're funnier than anything. I enjoy that we get them because it's just
there's nothing more satisfying than making like a Warhammer nerd mad.
Yeah.
But only the gatekeeper ones, because they're being weird about it in the first place.
Yeah, 99% of the community is so opening and receptive to this, and even like people will comment on it and be like, joke's on you, I finally painted all mine, time to go back to the shop. And like that guy who is anti-gray mini is just a pleasant person, and most people are just so welcoming in the community, and they like our songs, and a lot of them like will just follow along despite the fact that they're the complete opposite side of the hobby as us. They're like, oh yeah, I don't do that. But
I love when we get commission painters in the audience, like in the comments, and they're like, we'll do it. Send us your commissions.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
And do you know if or where have you reached? I mean, of course you reached Mexico because you are being interviewed by a Mexican studio, but are you aware like of maybe on the comments or when they do the prints and everything, do you know how far or where you've reached?
Kind of.
I have a vague idea just because I know.
We'll like Google Translate some of the comments. And
Yeah.
like, oh, Dutch.
Yeah, right. We did that the other day. Someone wrote it's a Volga.
We're mispronouncing it entirely, by the way.
Volg something man, which just means follow this man in Dutch. And I had to search out. I'm like, oh, hey, cute. People are telling people to follow us. I like
making
that.
sure they're not talking smack. They're always nice things. It'll be like Spanish, German. German is Dutch, I think. No. Kind of.
No, they're different. Don't say that in the Netherlands. They'll be upset.
I just know that it's called Deutschland. I have no idea what Dutch is. But anyways, so yeah, we see a lot of different languages, and like every time any of our work is shared, I'm always like looking at it and liking it. So I'll see all sorts of things I don't understand, and most of the time it's English.
Although when it is English, I almost always know when it's like the British guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
They have a way of talking about it. I don't know what it is, but you always know they're from the UK.
yeah,
You can
it's
notice the
crazy.
difference. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
most
That's
of our
amazing.
analytics will say like a lot of it's the States, like,
That
but
is true, yeah.
but just being like the majority of it being the States is still like 12%, and the other like math percent is
We should be better at math with all these games we play.
yeah.
It all revolve around rolling dice and adding and
That is one of the biggest myths of tabletop RPGs players. That's not entirely true.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
should, but we're not.
Yeah. Even A, like, yeah, no, like just looking at it like countries, yeah, United Kingdom, Spain, Germany, US, like it's just all over the place, and that the internet is wild. The fact that that's a real thing
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe you already mentioned it a little bit, but what has been like the hardest part of what you've been doing, or the thing that you don't really like and you would prefer to avoid?
The hardest thing is trying to tell people that we're not the 40K version of Weird Al. We are resources. They have no idea how to empathize. You know that song we sang? What if you had minis you didn't have to paint? Like
it's hard to correlate the two,
yeah, so
to
the
make one
hardest
advertise the other.
yeah, because like I said, like this is just like a fun thing for us for the most part, right? Like so trying to turn it into something we sell, the hardest part is just being like a salesman for free stuff. Like check out this thing, it's free.
We can't sell things that are free. That's the worst part of being a salesman.
Yeah. This is video of this dude on TikTok. He's like giving out free water, and he made this model where like he can give away water for free because there's advertisements on the bottles. Companies pay to advertise on his water, so it's free. You can take it, and people are just like, "Why is it free?" And I feel like that's like a huge thing. It's like, "Hey, check out my free resources. Why do you want me to go to your website? Why do you want me to click the link?" And like nobody says that, but that's what's playing in my head every time I'm about to tell anybody. So, it's just I wish it were easier to be nice and give people stuff. So that's what I would say.
Honestly, for me, the hardest part is probably doing it. Doing all of it. We have so many projects on the go, and just getting my ass in gear is so hard. And it's a thing I don't like about me. It's a personal growth moment,
The Cantina 15's fine. The problem is Reese.
Yeah. No. No, I don't know if there's anything in particular I don't like about it.
Yeah, like I said, I know we keep
like doing it is fun. It's like we say, it's just something we like to do. It's something we enjoy. We're trying to make more of a for lack of better, more of a job than a hobby out of it, but we want it to stay fun, like a hobby kind of thing. And we just kind of want to give back to the nerd community because we have such good times playing with, like, I remember going to local game shops and just going in for D&D sessions for their like event days and whatnot, and rolling up a rogue or a Goliath barbarian or something, and just hanging out with other nerds for like a few weeks kind of thing as we go through all these dumb scenarios that Wizards sent us out kind of thing. And I just kind of want to, we kind of want to give back for that, for all the good times we've had. We want to like help people have good times,
Yeah, especially with now, like it's becoming so much more normalized. Like we grew up in like the 2000s, so like we didn't have the same like vitriol of like the satanic panic back in the 80s. It was a lot more accepted when we started playing in like the early 2000s.
But we were still nerds, and we were soured for being nerds.
And so like we're so lucky we grew up when we did, and people now are even luckier, right? Like with like strangers,
that's true.
like normalizing the D&D aspect, and that could very well turn them into like other similar games, and like even something as simple as like Settlers of Catan, teaching people like there are different rule sets outside of Monopoly. Like there's just more like reach for these games now, and we have been like spoiled our whole lives with like all these different like rule sets and minis and mechanics. So we want to give that back. There's no gaming without the gaming community. Like it's just a sad dark room by yourself. So you need friends to play with, and we just want to build.
Yeah, so you'd be sad in that dark room together.
Exactly. So we just want to be able to like build and give to that community. Like we're building a community, and I love everything we've done so far. but
Our Discord's getting much more fun. I'm
Yeah.
liking all the people that are coming in and hanging out with us and talking to us and sharing their stuff. There are so many better painters than me.
yeah,
For a community that is built around the idea of not painting your miniatures, we have a lot of really good painters in our Discord community.
yeah, and yeah,
Artists in general.
yeah, oh yeah, like mom of creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're insane art. I'm like, why take Austin's job? So yeah, no, like I guess yeah, the hardest part is trying to sell to people because we're all riddled with guilt at all times. And it's all free. So I don't know why we feel that way, but yeah, we just want to give back to a community, and we're just very like we said, we're humble, shy nerds. So we're just it's hard for us to like reach out. So we do the parodies, but now we have to bridge that gap somehow. Where it's like we sang a song, check out our website. Like I don't know how to have that conversation. I don't know how to ask an adult for ketchup when they forgot it at the table. Like it's a lot. So everything's been great other than that existential crisis we just led you through. But sorry for getting so introspective.
I mean, I can relate with what you're saying. Actually, on the chat, a lot of people are mentioning that is true. It's hard to keep that balance and to start doing things, especially what you're mentioning, because you like them and you want to do them. It's not like when you say it's your job, you have to, you want to. And keeping that balance is hard.
Oh God, I just heard someone say, "Why did birds suck?" Austin is here. Getting the work done, lol. Yeah, so Birds Suck is Austin. He's our GM. He's in the chat right now. Sorry.
Hi, Austin. Thank you for coming.
And he heard Reese steal his joke, and he heard me talk smack. So we love.
I did say shortly after I stole the joke from Austin about
but yeah, no, he's Bird Stuck. He's a great artist. He's the one who brought us all these minis and kind of glued it all together. Originally, he wasn't a part of the group. He
was just kind of like a contingent artist.
Yeah, I'd pay him. I'd be like, draw me an orc, and be like, okay. And then after a while, like we just were like, this makes sense. Let's just make this a thing. And now he's just talking smack about birds in the chat. Ignore that.
Okay. So we have a question on the chat from Cthulhu. He is asking, in Warhammer 40K, what is your favorite armies and Legion of Space Marines?
Okay, Blood Angels, if that counts as Legion of Space Marines.
Okay.
Oh, so favorite arm. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. 1 second, I lost it. In Warhammer 40K, what's your favorite army and Legion of Space Marines?
And Legion. Okay, I thought we were specifying two Space Marines.
Blood Angels count as a Legion of Space Marines.
Yes, they're Legion. They have a Primarch, right?
So all of like the lore involved in the Blood Angels and a lot of like the backstories and stuff, I don't know anything about it, but they're red and that's all I care about. And so I like the Blood Angels, and that's that. I could just paint any Legion red and just be like, there you go. But they're naturally red, and that's my favorite color by a long shot. As far as my favorite team, the Tower, cool. I don't know. I don't care for long range combat. Death Guard. I'm gonna say Death Guard. Death Guard, final answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's edgy. I just like red edgy things. So you can tell about the rest of me. Yeah.
Says the guy not wearing. I guess you're wearing PJs.
I always have red on. Yeah, my red pajamas.
Oh, and it's red. Yeah.
Yeah, everything red.
No, my favorite army. My favorite army is the Tau. I got a whole bunch of there's videos of like my fully painted army, which is actually my dad's old army. He painted a good majority. Well, not a good majority. I painted most of those actually. He painted all the crew.
What's he gonna say now?
Yeah, right. He's gone. Get out of here. But my favorite Legion. I mean, I guess I could meme and just say it's got to be Alfarius, but
I don't know what that means.
It's Legion. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Favorite Legion. I really like Salamanders. One, because my favorite color is green.
We're on a commercial.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
I'll wait. Let's wait. I don't know what I'm thinking already.
I think we're good. You were saying your favorite Legion.
My favorite Legion is oh yeah, we are a minute behind.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh geez. Yelling for no reason.
My favorite Legion is Salamanders. I really like their lore. They really love their Primarch, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. But I just love the idea that they're all these ebon-skinned, like what's the word, like obsidian colored, like people with red eyes, because the radiation from their planet fucked with their gene seeds. So now they're just this terrifying looking people, but they're the friendliest space marines out of all of them. They will die for like the civilian. They'll break before the guard, or the guard will break, the planet breaks before the guard, but the guard will break before the salamanders, kind of thing. Is their relationship with humanity. They think it's something to salvage and save, and I really like that. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Nerds will correct me. They love doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Wrecks everybody.
It's Quick Pro. I do it. I have to have it done to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I have to confess that I don't know a lot of Warhammer, but every time someone
Yeah,
talks
that's
about
fine.
it,
There's
I
so many
want
things
to
in
play.
the world.
So
And it's
we
a lot
have,
too. 40K is big. That's why I like
Yeah.
kills small.
Mhm.
I think that's what scares me. That is so many things I'm afraid of getting lost in there, and I know I will.
Yeah, it's too much. I have the codexes and I don't read them. I just look at the front of my pretty picture, and that's as much as I know about 40K, unless I'm stating something. But
We have another question, and I want to clarify that it is a serious question.
okay.
It it says, Maradurashi is actually the high priestess of the order. She has other interviews on Saturdays in Spanish for content creators, along other things. She's playing one of our games on Friday, but it's up with commercials. She is asking, can I come visit you guys and play with you? I will pay with tacos.
If you find an airport that allows you to pay with tacos, you let me know, first of all. I don't know that they'll accept that as currency, but you keep me posted on that, and then we'll revisit that after you've leaped that hurdle.
There you go.
Fine.
Yeah, like
All right.
Well, we're happy to play.
but just out here is the challenge, I think, in that scenario.
Yeah. In this economy,
Oh,
tacos are the only money we have.
That's true. It's a great answer. She's right. So I have a question that I wanted to ask since the moment I heard, or you mentioned that you are from Canada. Could you tell us a little bit about what's like the scene in Canada? Like what's the reaction regarding tabletop RPGs? I mean, you are the first Canadians here, so would you be able to tell us a little bit about that?
There's a solid community for it here. Like I said, there's community. There's hobby shops like all over the place here that hold like community games. There's a lot of like LGS local game stores that do you know more about their like community nights than I would, but yeah, Mind Games, Pastimes, the local game stores, Games Workshops, they are in an abundance here. So there's a lot of community for them, but also like we've seen a lot of those things shut down in the past 20 years.
yeah, that's like the area we live in isn't super concentrated for like nerd community. We had a games workshop out here like down the street for like 5 years back in like 2000, and then it shut down because there's not enough people are playing Warhammer, which is fair. It's an expensive hobby. This is before cheaper versions like Kill Team and Warcry came out where you just need 10 dudes. But there's always been a pretty solid experience for being like a nerd or like a tabletop gamer out in the Vancouver area. It's always been a pretty easy to go out and find a group. Like if you're finding it hard to like have a group, go to like Metro Comics and Toys in Metrotown and Burnaby, and you'll find someone playing game.
It's one of like the most population dense areas of Canada. Like we're barely Canada too. We're like right on the border of the States geographically. So when people are like, what's it like up there? It's Seattle. But yeah,
with a few A's thrown in.
Yeah. So like we're Canada is like the second largest country in the world, but like so much of it is inhabitable. So like everybody lives in these like little pockets, like especially in like Montreal, Toronto, and like that general area, and in Vancouver. So and we have like despite everybody hating it, like a great transit system and stuff like that. So like it's so easy to build community here that like everything is so accessible to everything else. It's such like a well built area, I guess. Like it's all been like a very it feels like a blessing being in the area we're in with the hobbies that we have. You know, it's easy to find other nerds. Like
Yeah.
We're never short of like people at our table. So it's been
That's
really
good.
good for us.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's interesting. I mean, I guess I've heard some about the stores and things like that. I knew that it was easy to get those, but about the reaction of the community, that's something I didn't know. It's good to know. They're mentioning on the chat that you guys are living the dream.
Yeah. We're trying to bring that dream to you. Go to our website.
Yeah. Get them there. Go get them.
Yeah, there you go.
Like $1. Our Patreon's really cheap too, actually. We didn't want to charge people too much because it is print and play minis that we will be releasing at some point in the future for free. Like our first 3 Patreon months when we did a bit of a revamp of our website a few months back. We got another one coming soon, so be sure to check that out. We released miniatures from the Pirate Quest prompt, the Vampires and Leonum Quest prompt, and the Dwarves and Ogres, and those are all now free on our website. So eventually
It will be
they'll
next week. It's not live yet.
the quest prompts are, but the miniatures are.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you're right.
We're still working on the quest where we want it to like be easy enough to click into, get a side quest going for your gang kind of thing. Which that's almost kind of figured out. We're almost done.
Yeah.
We have a few more days. But the I think our most expensive Patreon is our Legend tier, and that's like $10 Canadian.
Not even.
Not even.
Yeah.
And it's and that's the one that comes with like all the additional DM resources, like the quest guide and the fauna and flora write-ups and like a bunch of stats for guys. Although the what is it, the OGL? OLG? OGL for Wizards of the Coast, that's been up in the air a bunch lately, so we were not sure how to approach that stat wise right now. So, like in our last one in March, we just kind of like, here's where you can reference a monster equivalent to the stats we intended for this kind of thing for your games.
We write like character summaries on like where you'd find them and how to play them, stuff like that. So
but
what was the question? What I can't remember what question we're answering.
I have a bad habit where I'll confess now, I have ADHD. My mind will go other places sometimes. If I ever go off track, just rein me back in.
I mean, no worries. The idea of this interview is that people get to know what you guys are, what you guys do, what you guys like. So yeah, no, don't worry. But we do have a specific question if you want.
Yeah,
sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, what am I answering? What was supposed to be answering?
So we have a question. Let me just translate it real quick. Did you ever imagine that you would be making digital content?
Yes.
A long time ago in high school, I was huge into the Machinima series, Red versus Blue by Rooster Teeth. That's the Halo one with all the dumb characters, Church and Sarge, and I just had such a good time. Younger me loved watching that show and just getting stupid with my friends. And me and Dylan actually a few times just kind of dicked around and recorded some random stuff while I was trying to figure out how this kind of stuff would work. And I really wanted to be like a YouTube content creator, like a Let's Player or create Machinima, like which is just movies through video games, for those who don't know the term. And it just never really picked up. So I've always wanted to do content creation. I just never really found like my niche. And then Dylan's like, hey, we can do dumb parodies and we can make like miniatures and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I used to make YouTube videos on a different kind of a realm of things. I'd make like metal not parodies, metal covers of like pop songs and stuff like that with Austin, who would drum for them. And we built like an amazing community with that as well, a lot bigger than the one we have with Cantina 13. And
yeah, guys, step up.
well, also it's a lot easier to, you know, but like creation with like a few different projects, and I've been so lucky that like all of them have had some like relative success, but like this is the one that I'm by far the happiest about, despite like you know restarting in like a smaller community like this. Like it's been so much more fun and so much more like immediate like gratification. Like even if like we're releasing it to like so few people, like I love everything that we do, and like I genuinely have so much more fun with this than any other project that I've done. So I've always been into creating content, very new to creating content like this, but it's always been kind of a plan, so to speak.
I see Alec in the chat just playing us up a bunch.
Yeah, Alex a dork. What's that guy?
Alex, someone else from our community. Again, we just have lots of fun people in our community. Alex on all of our content. We love him.
Yeah, you love him. I can't.
Well,
No.
welcome. Thank you for joining us. And next to that question, they were also asking, what is your expectation on the project?
I don't even want to go into that. Expectations are where dreams die.
We don't know, actually. We kind of have like an idea of what we want it to be, but we don't really know like what to expect, if that makes sense, kind of thing. Like
Everyone has dreams of grandeur, you know, like
Mhm.
sure, sometimes we think about being like the over-encompassing version of like D&D Beyond, but like other times we just think about making like, you know, music videos to like a smaller group. Like I don't want to have expectations as much as I want to have ambitions, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
My ambitions are just, you know, grow this as naturally as possible until we can, you know, properly feed our artist, and that's fine.
Like I feel like if I could make this my full-time job, just making nerdy stuff for nerdy people, that would be awesome. But the issue is we got to find a way to do that without charging an arm and a leg for it too, because we do want to be like predominantly a free resource system. So we gotta find those sponsors, you know.
Yeah.
Austin says in the chat that he is hungry. So
Exactly. So we need more people to subscribe to Patreon so Austin can eat.
we keep him in a
Guys,
cage
you heard that.
until
Go
we
join the
can.
Patreon, please. We need to feed Austin, please. All right. And
but
once.
not too many expectations for sure. Just we want it to do well. That's like if we could make a job out of it and keep it going and keep, you know, providing free resources and making dumb videos for people to enjoy and just, you know, make the world laugh a little bit.
At least I got
that's
chicken.
okay.
Yo, who just made that absolutely killer Leroy Jenkins reference? Oh my God. I can't pronounce your name, but I love you.
So actually, that same person is asking, what kind or what type of characters do you like to play more? Which
Bard.
like archetype do you enjoy the most?
For the longest time, I was stuck on Rangers. I had a big Drizzt Do'Urden like fascination. Like I want to be like the edgy dark elf guy, but I would not always roll a dark elf. But more recently, I like sorcerers and wizards. I like magic. It's fun to just say, hey, fuck you because I said so, you know, with various shenanigans. Oh yeah, should I not swear? I'm sorry.
I
yeah,
haven't
no
asked
worries.
it kept happening. I was like, I gotta say something.
I bet if again, I gotta.
Um,
But yeah, wizards predominantly. Like my favorite character I played was in when you DM'd actually the Inward
Yeah.
Chronicles. My favorite character that I've played recently in the last couple of years is the Storm Sorcerer Kepesk. He's a lizard man, and he
very neutral.
very neutral individual. It was very interesting to play like a neutrally emotional character, but I kind of put a spin on it that it's not that he doesn't have emotions, he just expresses them for different reasons. So he's something I read about lizard folk is they like to fight, eat, and party. So
Okay.
he fights, eats, and parties.
Makes sense.
But then the rest of the adventures is very monotone, serious guy. But when you get him drunk, whew, it's a party. It's a good time.
A surprise to nobody, I like playing bards. I also really like paladins. I play a paladin in World of Warcraft that I've been playing since like Burning Crusade, and I just I don't know. I like playing fighters. Sword and board is like my favorite combination. I want to be able to stab stuff and not get stabbed back. But
so no barbarians.
No barbarians. They're just in a loincloth. It's not practical. And I just like the idea of you know, this like heroic character and you know, also being self-sufficient. You know, like ouch, ouch, I got hurt, I heal myself. I'm also in plate armor. So I feel like the practicality of paladins is very attractive to me. Whereas like bards just feel like I don't have to role play, you know, I'm just gonna be a bard and I just say things that I would normally say. They're the most easy. They're just obnoxious and play music, and I'm like, oh, bet, like let's go. So yeah, either of those I'd say.
Okay. And you mentioned that you are going to start playing soon. is this game going to be like streamed, something we can see, or is just you guys on with your friends, your thing?
We are going to record it, so it'll be pre-recorded sessions, like a multicam setup. Eventually, when that is, we're doing our session 0. It was actually canceled for today, so we just spend the time working on like the website and stuff.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so
Austin, what's going on?
No, it's Riley. So yeah, our session 0 is going to start next week.
Okay.
And yeah, we're still putting together our characters and everything. We're going to we played a preliminary session just to kind of get everybody in the
more of as a chemistry test to see how we
Yeah.
play off each other kind of thing. And it turned out pretty good. I think
Yeah.
we had a really good time.
we had a lot of fun. Got to know what not to do and what to do a little bit more now.
Kind of helped us figure out everyone's like storytelling strengths and like where they're the best at kind of like
Yeah.
figuring some dumb stuff out.
Yeah, we got to figure out, like, Austin has a few homebrew rules that honestly I prefer to a lot of other GMs that I played. So I really like his GMing style. And you know, he got to kind of figure out how we are as players and what to expect from us,
which is never anything good.
Just chaos. But no, he plays a lot with like newer players who are just like D&D is the first thing they've played. Whereas like all of us are like, we're seasoned nerds, but like D&D is not, like I said, like we grew up on like primarily like Palladium games and Hero Quest. We play a lot of RPGs, but not necessarily a lot of D&D. So Austin has to kind of traverse like, you know, what's it like playing with like a rules lawyer, and we have to like traverse what's it like playing with this GM. So we're learning each other's play styles, and we did all that. That was a lot of fun. I don't think it could have gone better. And now we're just going to set up this new campaign, which we're going to record and post it. Hope other people enjoy watching it as much as we enjoy doing it. But that has no ETA, as we have not even had session 0 yet, and we don't for another week now.
That was supposed to be today, but
yeah,
I guess not.
Okay.
So we have all the time in the world.
Perfect.
It says about a 4-hour interview. Let's do it. Let's haul ass.
So we do have more questions actually.
Go for it.
Do you know or have you played any Latin American RPGs?
I don't know if I have. Name some, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? Name some. I'm not sure if I have. I know of a few, but I haven't played them. I just know there's like alternatives to like
GURPS.
Actually,
GURPS Latin American?
No. GURPS, that's generic universal role playing.
Yeah, but I know that like a lot of the Brazilian dudes at my work play GURPS.
Do they? Oh, I don't think it's.
Yeah, no, it's not Latin American, but it's very popular in Brazil.
Yeah,
GURPS,
okay.
Yeah.
It's popularized.
I was gonna say I know a lot of games that are popular. Like there's this one that's it's very similar to Warhammer, but it's like another super sci-fi like skirmishing game. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I know it's very popular in like Mexico and South America, but it's I don't think it originated there.
So I can think right now of one called Nahual, that's based on a Mexican legend, Nahual.
Can't
And
say
then we also have actually I was playing Legend, or well, Leyenda, but Legends, that's from Argentina.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, I haven't heard of that one either. Sorry.
No worries.
We're too mainstream. It's
Yeah.
I thought we were nerds. We have no nerd cred.
Yeah. It doesn't exceed the borders of Vancouver.
And are there any Canadians RPGs?
Canadian RPGs.
I honestly don't know.
Man, I gotta start.
There's
looking.
Deck Delvers. That's a Canadian
Yes.
RPG. I wrote that one. So there's one. I don't know if it's very good. You'll have to tell me. But
Yeah,
We'll have to play.
American system. Hero Quest is Games Workshop, Hasbro. So that's
Yeah.
American or UK. Hero Quest is an Americanized version of the UK system.
No, I'm gonna get his name wrong. A member who worked at GW in the UK went over to work for Hasbro, and he came up with the idea for Hero Quest as a transitionary game from games like Monopoly to games like Warhammer and D&D. So it's a little more complex than Monopoly
So
in
it's
life.
UK system then, yeah.
Kind of, but Hasbro was American. Milton Bradley at the time was American.
I
So
don't even know.
it's a bit of both.
So yeah, like American and UK primarily. Palladium is
Yeah.
definitely
Definitely American.
Yeah, Hasbro, Bradley, GW. We play a lot of GW games. Leader Games, which is just Root, which isn't really an RPG, but we spend a lot of time with Root. That's German.
Later games? I don't remember where later games is
I assumed
situated.
Hosen.
So I think it's his last name.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just assumed you say later, I think Hosen, like,
That's fair.
yeah,
Actually, I don't think that's his name either, so it's fine.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, no,
I
think of
guess
any
we will have to
specific
send you
games.
some Latin American games so you
Yeah,
can check
Absolutely,
them
send them
out.
our way. I'm always happy to try new games. Like I just
Yeah.
bought another one today or the other day while I was on away with my friend, and it's called Kill Dr. Lucky, and it's basically just like reverse Clue. Very fun, very
Oh.
fun. Great game.
Board game, not RPG.
Board game, not an RPG, but
Yeah.
it's still very fun.
Sounds
But I
fun.
gotta play something new. I love getting into new mechanics.
Okay, yeah, we will do that, of course. I'm sorry, I lost the question that I had here, but while I find it, you mentioned your game. Can we find that? It's something
Oh,
that
yeah.
we can.
If you go to cantina13.com/deckdelvers, you'll find it there. It is a one-page rules RPG. So the way one-page rules work is, I kind of wrote this as a challenge project for myself, and then Dylan is like, "Hey, why don't we put it up on the website?" I'm like, "Sure." And but basically, a one-page rules game exists solely on a single sheet of paper, either front side or front and back.
Not this paper.
Not this specifically, but
It's in the closet.
is it? We do have one in the closet. There's so many cups that we don't use. Here we go.
Yeah, this is an expansion. This is
Yeah, and this isn't the final one too. We sent it to actually Zach, who made the character sheet for us. We sent him an early version of it, and he pointed out some things I made mistakes on this. So we got a new one coming out soon.
Yeah, we sent it out for beta testing, which is the coolest thing I've ever said in my life.
Yeah, right. It's been tested. Somebody else made fan art for it. It's pretty great. But this is the game. All the rules are contained on one sheet, and
Okay.
we have 2 expansions coming out for it soon. This one is Adventure Academy, which adds 10 additional classes.
Okay.
Oh, which
10.
reminds me, Austin, we're changing the rules. Can you redo the art? Thank you.
We just need to put the background in it again. It's just some word changes and word adjustments because I overthought some oversight on my part. And but basically the premise of the original core game is like all you need is a deck of 52 cards, some pencils, and some paper to keep track of like stats and monsters, and all the rules you'll find on a single page. And it's just meant to be played in like some downtime. It's not meant to be like a full replacement for like D&D. It's not that complex. It's more of like most one-page rules games are meant for like you have an hour or two to kill and you want to do something akin to D&D. This is a way to just, you don't need dice, you don't need any complicated rule sets. You need a page of paper, a pencil, and a deck of cards, and you're good to go, kind of thing.
Is it a deck of like regular
Yeah,
like
like
poker
a
cards?
playing card deck, like a poker deck.
Something you
Yeah,
can find
okay.
in the dollar store. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll see, just for example, here on the Warlock spells, you see we have all the different suits of the cards related. Because you have like an
okay.
attunement to a particular
Look,
thing.
you can see you coming to my side of the.
Oh, you can. Look at that. You can't see me pointing on my screen, but
You see it pointing online.
and yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
but,
Okay.
but yeah, so the expansions exist to just kind of added more to the game. It's a tongue-in-cheek way to make the game a little more than one page. But the challenge I put for myself is the expansion also has to fit on one complete page. I can't go over. And yeah, so if you find yourself in some downtime, want to play a quick RPG, I've got a whole bunch of classes available for you. It's very simple system. You just draw cards, and that's how you attack. It's how you solve, perform skill checks. It's how much damage you deal. It's whether or not you use special abilities. Bunch of very simple mechanics. Just beer and pretzels game with your friends, maybe even around a campfire. Like you're out camping, you don't want to bring like 100 dice and rule books and such. Paper, a deck of cards, and you're good to go.
That's practical. And is it, or can it be played in any context, any world, or is it more medieval?
It's focused around kind of like a D&D style, like fantasy setting. So it's got your warrior, your cleric, but
you could be a space cleric.
You could be a space cleric. You could set up whatever story you want. The rules just tell you how the cards work.
Yeah. You could be a cleric in any year you choose.
Yeah, whatever you want to flavor it as. Do it up.
Yeah. But
wow, that's amazing. I am going to look for that. It looks, I mean, it sounds very, very fun. All right. Well, we are reaching the end of the interview. I really appreciate you guys being here. I've enjoyed your stories and everything. I really like what you guys do, and hopefully the people that are watching right now and that will watch this later once it's on YouTube will go and check your props and everything because I really like them. I think they're great and they're free. They are wanting to help us to play better and enjoy our games. Before I go to like commercials and the things at the end, I want to give you some time if you want to make any announcements or I don't know, talk about anything that you would like. Now is your time.
Anything we got in the oven that we
We
haven't
should really
already
finish
mentioned?
those turtles. No, just yeah, we are in the works of updating our website, which I guess we're going to put a little bit more work into today. Now that session 0 is canceled, so we do have a lot of changes coming, and that does come with more content coming out. Again, it's all going to be free. The Patreon is entirely optional. If you like our little faces, go for it. Support us there. But if not, there's tons of free resources, and we'd be just as happy to see people using Cantinis at their table, all the free ones, as we would if they were, on the highest tier of Patreon. We just want to see people expanding their experiences on the tabletop with, rules and resources, terrain and minis. So go check those out. Those are our little babies, and we love them all, and we want to see other people love them too. And that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to the interview. We have a small symbolic way to saying thank you besides saying thank you. We give like an acknowledgement that I will email to you guys later. Right now, people that are watching the stream will be able to see the acknowledgement. It is designed by our founder and designer, Forjador. And well, you guys are also watching the stream, so you probably will be able to see it in a few seconds. There you go. So again, thank you so much for accepting. I really enjoyed speaking with you guys. Before I say goodbye, just quick commercials. I am going to switch real quick to Spanish. I hope you don't mind.
Go for it.
Solo para recordarles que más tarde, de hecho, en más o menos 40 minutos, tenemos juego, es One Shot de Anatema, conmigo como narradora. Y posteriormente, no, ya no tenemos nada más tarde. La próxima semana, el viernes, tenemos Eterno, ver qué va a pasar con los saqueadores, cómo van a resolver sus situaciones. Y tenemos también entrevista con Maratura el sábado y entrevista conmigo el próximo domingo. Cualquier cosa que se vaya a agregar, le estaremos poniendo en nuestras redes, entonces por ahí chequenlas. Again, thank you so much for being here with us, for accepting the invitation, and I hope we can work in the future together.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having us. This has been great.
All right. Well, thank you so much also to the viewers to being here, all your questions and everything. I hope you enjoyed your day. I hope you can join us later for the game, and may your checks be always critical.
Love it.
Exactly.